Hey guys, how is everybody doing? And continuing my Final Destination review series, here are my thoughts on Final Destination 2, aka the movie that made everybody afraid of wooden trucks, or trucks hauling wood, I guess I should say. That never scared me though. Starting off with my positives on Final Destination 2, and the thing that I really love about this movie, and that what gets you like hooked, and what kind of like makes you feel like you're gonna watch like a really good movie, is the opening of this movie and the premonition that we get. The premonition that we get in this movie is a lot better than the first movie, and honestly, I think is like the best of the entire series. To where it's on to where that whole highway I believe it's a highway. That whole sequence is just absolutely awesome. I really love that sequence. It is bloody and it is violent, and it is a great way to start off a Final Destination movie because the way they do it and the way they show it off is just so action packed and just so gory and bloody, and like just and like how like that could happen in real life too, which is what this whole series is about. Is like this could happen. But like I really loved that premonition to where it's just like it's a huge boost from that first movie to where I really loved it to where it's like no wonder why people were afraid of trucks hauling wood in the back, because like a lot of people even told me themselves. I believe my fucking mom told me this. Like she was like driving one day and there was like a truck hauling wood. She like literally changed lanes because she watched this movie and she was afraid of that. Like there's no wonder why people are afraid of trucks hauling wood now because of this movie. And it makes perfect sense to me. But yeah, that whole premonition is awesome in my mind. I really love that whole premonition. It is the best of the series in my mind, and it was just a hell of a way to open it. And I don't even think like we've ever gotten an action movie where it was like that. The way they filmed it and the way they made it like as like action packed and like unnerving as it was. Like I've never like you've like I feel like that scene is just one of the greatest scenes in horror history in my mind. Like in general, that is just a great horror scene in my entire life. And like if I were to do like a whole like ranking of like best opening sequences, this would definitely be on there in like top 3 for sure. My next positive is that I really like the return of Clear. Now, she doesn't really do much, and I do feel like there was more to her character they could have done besides of making her kind of this unnerved type person where she's always warning people. Like every scene that she's in, like she's literally warning people. It's like, oh, don't do this, oh, watch out for this, watch out for that. Like there's a part to where this guy's being hauled up into the ambulance, and she's telling us just like, oh, watch out for potholes, watch out for this, make sure the oxygen tank is okay. Like she's like pointing out all these little things, and to me, I personally feel like they could have done more with her with that. But it's just cool to see the return of her and just to see the return of the character from that original movie, which I'll talk about what happened with Devin Sawa here later. But like it's just cool to see a character return, and where she's like our legacy character of this movie, and I really enjoyed that about this movie. And another returning character that I liked, and I don't know if it's like a returning character by any means, but it is a returning actor with Tony Todd. Now, again, his whole character to me doesn't make any sense, and I talked about that in my review of the first movie, where just his character in general makes no sense to me. It's just like that's just like a lame excuse to try to explain to the audience of what death is and what this world really and like what the premise of this movie actually is. But like it's just cool to see him come back because it's Tony Todd, and he has that badass voice where like everything he's saying in those scenes just sound badass because it's Tony Todd saying it. But yeah, it was cool to see those two characters come back from the first movie. Again, I do feel like there was more with Claire that they could have done, and it is a shame that that she does die at the end of this movie, but it also has like this whole arc, I guess, of like that everybody that survived from the original does end up dying no matter what, to where no matter how long you wait or how no matter how long time has passed, death finds a way to come back after you no matter what happens, which I kind of like that whole full circle type moment. But again, I feel like there was more they could have done with her, but I do like the returning character. I do like to see her return as this legacy like character. And of course, Tony Todd just coming back as badass because it's Tony Todd. And my final positive about this movie, and something that I do prefer over the first movie, is the carnage of this movie. The violence of this movie and the kills in this movie are absolutely awesome. To me, they are way better than the first movie. Now, the first movie does have some pretty good kills, but this movie is really violent. And at the time when this movie came out, this was not at the time like when Saw came out or that torture porn era. Like like at that time, there was not a lot of violence in movies. There wasn't a whole bunch. I like there was some during the 80s and stuff like that, but like when they got to this point, like I could imagine people could say that this is one of the most violent movies they had seen at the time. And the death scenes in this movie are just really gruesome and awesome. My favorite kill in this movie is to where this guy, this like stoner character, he literally gets cut in half by a bunch of barbed wire. And like that, and it looks CGI at some moments, but it also looks really practical. Like the carnage in this movie is just absolutely awesome to where there's kind of like a gag with one of them. Like one of them is like this girl gets her hair caught in a hook, and then she like gets her head like stuck in an elevator and she gets like decapitated. There's kind of like a joke there, kind of like you kind of have like this nervous laughter when you watch it because like the old guy kind of starts to freak out and he says like this weird cry that he has. He goes, like there's like that weird uncomfortable like laugh that you get from that death, and like just the deaths in this movie are just absolutely awesome. Like they are absolutely way better than the first movies and they're really fucking violent, and that's what I really like about this series, what I like about this movie, and what I prefer over the original. So yeah, the violence and the kills in this movie are so fucking awesome. Moving on to my mixed aspects, and one thing that I didn't really like in this movie that they did it in the first movie, but they did it a lot more in this, is that this movie has multiple premonitions. So to where, what I mean by that is like you get the main one, like in the opening with like the whole highway thing where the girl sees all these people die and stuff like that, like you do in the original in this entire series. But like throughout the movie, she slowly starts to have these other premonitions where she's seeing this girl in a white van like drown at some point, and then she's seeing like other things where they do this weird things, just like look for the signs, and when you feel like you see a sign, that's how they're gonna die, which they kind of play into. Like there's a part where it's like pigeons fly by her, it's just like, oh, pigeons, this guy's gonna die by pigeons. It's just like, okay, like I get what they're trying to do, but that kind of makes you lose suspense throughout the movie, and it just doesn't make the movie as interesting, if that makes sense. Because I feel like just one premonition is good enough. But when you have multiple, and when they're slowly starting to spoil of what's going to happen, you kind of start to lose interest at some points. Now, I'm not against it. Like, I get what they're trying to do. But, like, I feel like you kind of lose interest of what's happening. You lose that suspense value that you get with the death sequences. Because when you see some people die, like, when you're about to watch somebody die, you just don't know how it's gonna happen. And they do a lot of fake outs, but it's like, oh, they're gonna die this way, so look out for this and stuff like that. But then, like that again, that suspense value just gets taken away. Moving on to my negatives, and my biggest negative with this movie, and it has always pissed me off, even when I was younger when I would watch this movie, I really hate how they killed Alex off screen. That to me is absolute bullshit to me. Now, I don't remember the actual reason of why Devon Sawa did not return to play Alex in this movie, which I thought it would be cool to see him come back and return alongside Claire. Like, that would have been cool to just see those two characters again. But, like, I don't know what happened. I don't know why Devon Sawa was in here. I don't know if it was a pay dispute. I don't know if it was just personal issues, or maybe he didn't want to be part of the movie, or maybe he was just never meant to be part of the movie at all. Because the faith that they give him in this movie is just absolute bullshit. They literally kill him off screen because of a fucking brick. It's like, what? A fucking brick fell off and killed him, and we're finding out over a picture? That is bullshit to me.
Is bullshit.
It could be considered a nitpick. Oh, you literally have the main character of the fucking first movie die off screen in your second movie. That is the most cliche thing you can do, and it's probably one of the most bullshit things you can do in a movie. And while I was watching this, I felt like I was getting my own sense of deja vu, because when I was watching this movie, I felt like I was just rewatching the first movie again, because we were going through the same thing that we were going through with the first movie. It's like we get the premonition, and the characters are trying to figure out how to escape death, and they're trying to figure out the pattern, which, again, I get it because these are new characters, and the Final Destination movies have always been like an anthology type thing, where they just follow different characters every new movie, and stuff like that, which I'm glad they do, and don't follow the same characters, because that would get boring. But, like, I just felt like I was watching the same movie, because us as an audience member, like, I already know what I'm watching. I already know what's gonna happen. I think that's why they brought in Claire to like kind of like so she can explain to the new characters, and so not having to explain to the audience what we already know. But it's just like I felt like I was just rewatching the same things. It's like, okay, I already know the pattern thing. I already know about death. I already know what's gonna happen. But like, you're going along with these new characters, and you're just like, as an audience member, like, I already sat through this before. I already know what's gonna happen. I already know the fucking rules. But it's just, I don't know. That's just me. That's just what I felt like, and I might have an issue with that throughout the rest of the series, because I guarantee you it's just gonna be the same fucking thing. And my final negative, besides like the main character, I guess, which I think she's fine for what she's given, I don't really like any of these characters. None of them to me are memorable. The only other one that I kind of like is the stoner, and I still can't really tell you about anything. The reason I don't really like any of these characters is that none of them are memorable, and none of them really have anything to do. If anything, they're just there to die, and they're just pointless, basically. They're not really there to really do anything. And, like, I just can't really remember them. None of them are memorable. None of them are, like, likable or anything like that. Like, again, the main girl, she's fine for what she's given. But, like, I don't know. None of these characters really interest me. None of them were I really cared about whatsoever. But, like, I don't know. And just like going along with that, the dialogue with these actors and the characters was just not good. It was just not good because some dialogue was like just felt like flat and was all. But like overall, these characters to me just weren't very memorable, and none of them I really cared about, and I didn't really care if they died or not. Besides the stoner, because he was fun. But overall, guys, I really enjoy Final Destination 2. I don't think it's better than the first movie. It definitely has a few flaws, but I do think it's a worthy follow-up from that first movie to where I do really enjoy Final Destination 2. It has its flaws, and a few years ago, I did prefer this over the first movie, and I actually like this movie a bit more. But going back and rewatching these movies, I've kind of not fallen in love with them as like I used to, but I still really enjoy Final Destination 2. So if you enjoyed the first movie, I definitely think that this is definitely worth a watch. Let me know what you guys think about Final Destination 2 down in the comments below, and we shall talk about it. If you like this video, like it. If you love to subscribe to the bell notifications, so you will get notified for all my latest videos. And of course, until my next video, see you all next time.